Welcome back to my channel. 99% of people will spend this Washington quarter without looking at it, but that could be a huge mistake. What if a tiny detail on your 1967 or 1971 Washington quarter makes collectors stop and take a second look? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the hidden features, fascinating history, and the exact details that experienced collectors always check. Don't skip this video, because the coin sitting in your pocket right now could surprise you. The coin number 1. Imagine finding a 1967 Washington quarter tucked away in an old coin jar, hidden inside a family collection, or resting quietly in your pocket change. At first glance, it may appear to be nothing more than an ordinary 25-cent coin, yet every experienced collector knows that history often hides in the smallest objects. The 1967 Washington quarter was produced during a unique period in United States coinage, making it one of the most interesting modern quarters for collectors to study. While most circulated examples are worth only their face value, exceptional uncirculated pieces, certified high-grade examples, and genuine mint-era coins continue to receive strong attention from collectors. The real excitement comes from understanding what makes one coin ordinary and another truly collectible. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin, its popularity ensured that the design remained in production for decades. The obverse features the familiar portrait of America's first president, while the reverse displays a powerful eagle standing proudly above a bundle of arrows and olive branches, representing both strength and peace. By 1967, this classic design had become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States and was a regular part of everyday American life. The year 1967 occupies a special place in American coin history because it fell during a nationwide coin shortage. To discourage collectors from hoarding newly issued coins, the United States Mint temporarily removed mint marks from circulating coins between 1965 and 1967. As a result, all regular 1967 Washington quarters were struck without a mint mark, regardless of the facility where they were produced. This unique historical decision makes the 1967 issue instantly recognizable and gives it an important place in the Washington quarter series. Like other quarters of its era, the 1967 Washington quarter was struck using a copper-nickel clad composition rather than the 90% silver used before 1965. This change reflected the growing demand for circulating coinage and the increasing value of silver. Although the metal composition changed, the classic Washington design remained the same, allowing millions of Americans to continue using the familiar quarter in their everyday lives. Today, this coin serves as a reminder of an important transition in United States coinage. Condition plays a major role in collector interest. Many 1967 quarters circulated heavily for decades, developing worn details, scratches, contact marks, and faded mint luster. Others were saved shortly after being issued and still display brilliant original surfaces, crisp lettering, and sharply defined design features. Collectors especially appreciate coins that retain their original mint luster because they provide a glimpse of how the coin looked when it first left the mint nearly 60 years ago. Professional grading services carefully evaluate each coin based on preservation, strike quality, originality, luster, and eye appeal. Even a small difference in grade can significantly influence collector demand. Registry set collectors often compete for the finest surviving examples because nearly flawless 1967 Washington quarters are much scarcer than ordinary circulated pieces. A beautifully preserved coin represents both excellent mint production and decades of careful storage. One of the most fascinating parts of collecting the 1967 Washington quarter is searching for genuine mint-made errors. Although strict quality control procedures were in place, occasional manufacturing mistakes still occurred. Authentic mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, broad strikes, and other legitimate varieties remain highly desirable because they represent unusual moments during the minting process. These genuine mint errors are very different from scratches, dents, corrosion, polishing, or other damage that happened after the coin entered circulation, which generally reduces collector appeal. Many new collectors believe cleaning an old coin improves its value, but experienced numismatists usually recommend leaving coins exactly as they are found. Harsh cleaning removes the original mint surface, creates fine scratches, and permanently changes the appearance of the coin. Original luster and natural tunning are generally much more desirable because they preserve the coin's authenticity and historical character. An untouched coin often attracts much stronger collector interest than one that has been polished. The greatest lesson of the 1967 Washington Quarter is that successful coin collecting is built on knowledge, patience, and careful observation rather than exaggerated stories. Most 1967 quarters remain ordinary circulation coins, but outstanding uncirculated examples, top-grade certified pieces, and genuine mint-era coins continue to attract collectors. Every 1967 Washington Quarter represents an important chapter in American history, reflecting a time when the United States Mint adapted to changing economic conditions while continuing one of the nation's most iconic coin designs. Whether discovered in pocket change, inherited from a family member, or found in an old collection, this quarter reminds us that history can be preserved in even the smallest everyday objects. The coin number 2. Have you ever picked up a 1971 Washington Quarter and wondered how many hands it has passed through over the last half-century? Every day, thousands of these quarters are spent without a second thought, yet collectors know that even an ordinary-looking coin can tell an extraordinary story. The 1971 Washington Quarter represents an important period in modern American coinage, carrying with it decades of history, craftsmanship, and the possibility of discovering a remarkable collectible. While most circulated 1971 quarters are worth their face value, outstanding uncirculated examples, certified high-grade coins, and genuine mint-era pieces continue to capture the attention of collectors across the United States. The excitement lies not in believing every coin is a fortune, but in learning the details that separate an everyday quarter from one that deserves a place in a collection. The Washington Quarter first entered circulation in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. What began as a commemorative issue quickly became one of the longest-running and most recognizable coin series in American history. Designed to honor the nation's first president, the coin features Washington's distinguished portrait on the obverse, while the reverse displays the famous heraldic eagle standing proudly above arrows and olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. By 1971, this classic design had already become a familiar sight in stores, banks, schools, and homes throughout America, making it one of the country's most trusted circulating coins. The year 1971 came during an important era for United States coinage. Just a few years earlier, the mint had transitioned from 90% silver quarters to the durable copper-nickel-clad composition introduced in 1965. As a result, the 1971 Washington Quarter was struck using this modern clad metal, allowing the mint to produce enough coins for daily commerce while preserving precious silver supplies. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, quickly becoming part of everyday American life. They paid for meals, bus fares, newspapers, and countless small purchases, quietly witnessing history while performing their simple role in the nation's economy. Collectors understand that condition is one of the most important factors determining a coin's appeal. A quarter that spent decades circulating naturally develops worn details, contact marks, faded luster, and surface scratches. Another coin that remained safely stored in a mint set or private collection may still display brilliant original mint luster, sharply defined design details, and exceptional eye appeal. These well-preserved examples become increasingly desirable because they allow collectors to see the coin almost exactly as it appeared when it left the United States Mint more than 50 years ago. Professional grading services carefully examine every coin before assigning a numerical grade based on preservation, strike quality, originality, luster, and overall eye appeal. Even a slight improvement in grade can significantly increase collector demand. Registry set collectors often search for the finest surviving 1971 Washington quarters because nearly flawless examples become much more difficult to locate with each passing decade. Every tiny detail, from the sharpness of Washington's hair to the brilliance of the coin's surfaces, contributes to its overall desirability. One of the most fascinating aspects of collecting the 1971 Washington quarter involves searching for genuine mint-made errors. Although the United States Mint maintained strict quality control standards, occasional manufacturing mistakes still occurred. Authentic mint errors such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, die chips, broad strikes, and other unusual varieties remain popular among collectors because they reveal rare moments during the minting process. These authentic mint errors are completely different from scratches, dents, corrosion, polishing, or environmental damage that occurred after the coin entered circulation. Learning to recognize the difference between genuine mint-made errors and post-mint damage is one of the most valuable skills any collector can develop. Many beginning collectors believe cleaning an old coin improves its value. Experienced numismatists generally recommend leaving coins exactly as they are found. Harsh cleaning removes the original mint surface, creates microscopic scratches, and permanently changes the coin's appearance. Collectors generally prefer coins with original mint luster and natural tunning because these features preserve the authenticity and history of the piece. An untouched coin almost always receives greater appreciation than one that has been polished or altered. The 1971 Washington quarter continues to hold an important place in American coin collecting because it represents a significant chapter in the nation's modern coinage. Every surviving example reflects decades of craftsmanship while honoring George Washington and preserving a familiar design that served generations of Americans. Whether discovered in loose change, inherited from a family member, or found in an old coin collection, each coin carries a story that extends far beyond its face value. The greatest lesson of the 1971 Washington quarter is that true collector value comes from originality, preservation, rarity, and genuine mint-made characteristics rather than exaggerated claims. Most 1971 Washington quarters remain ordinary circulation coins, but exceptional uncirculated examples, top-grade certified pieces, and authentic mint-era coins continue to attract serious collector interest. By studying mint marks where applicable, condition, strike quality, originality, and genuine mint-made varieties, collectors discover that the real treasure is not simply a price. It is the history, craftsmanship, and remarkable journey preserved within every coin. Every 1971 Washington quarter reminds us that even the most familiar pocket change can become a meaningful piece of American history. The coin number 3. Have you ever picked up a 1970 Washington quarter and wondered whether this ordinary-looking 25-cent coin has a story that most people never notice? Every day, thousands of these quarters are spent without a second glance, yet experienced collectors know that history often hides inside the coins we use every day. The 1970 Washington quarter represents an important era in United States coinage, combining American history, skilled craftsmanship, and the excitement of modern coin collecting. While most circulated 1970 quarters are worth only their face value, exceptional uncirculated examples, certified high-grade coins, and genuine mint-era pieces continue to attract strong collector interest. The true excitement comes from understanding the details that separate an ordinary coin from one that collectors proudly preserve. The Washington quarter first entered circulation in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin quickly became one of the most recognizable pieces of American currency. The obverse features a distinguished portrait of America's first president, while the reverse displays the classic heraldic eagle standing above arrows and olive branches, representing both national strength and the desire for peace. By 1970, This design had already become a familiar part of everyday American life and continued to symbolize the nation's history every time a quarter changed hands. The D Mint mark tells collectors that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. During 1970, the Denver Mint produced millions of Washington quarters that entered circulation through banks, grocery stores, restaurants, vending machines, and businesses across the United States. These coins quickly became part of everyday commerce, passing through countless hands over the decades. Because they were intended for circulation, many surviving examples now display scratches, worn details, faded luster, and other signs of use. Coins that escaped heavy circulation and remained safely stored in collections or mint sets are much scarcer today and continue to attract greater collector attention. The year 1970 was also part of the new era of clad coinage that followed the end of silver quarters for circulation after 1964. Unlike earlier Washington quarters made from 90% silver, the 1970 D issue was struck using a copper-nickel clad composition. This change allowed the United States Mint to continue producing enough coins for commerce while maintaining the familiar Washington design that Americans recognized. Today, the 1970 D quarter represents an important period in the evolution of modern United States coinage. Condition plays one of the most important roles in determining collector demand. A heavily circulated coin naturally develops contact marks, worn high points, and reduced mint brilliance after years of everyday use. By contrast, an uncirculated example may still display bright original luster, sharp lettering, crisp design details, and excellent eye appeal. Collectors especially appreciate coins that remain in outstanding condition because they provide a glimpse of how the quarter looked when it first left the mint more than 50 years ago. Professional grading services carefully examine each coin before assigning a numerical grade based on preservation, strike quality, originality, luster, and eye appeal. Even a slight improvement in grade can significantly influence collector demand. Registry set collectors often search for the finest certified 1970 D Washington quarters because nearly flawless examples become increasingly difficult to locate as the years pass. Every tiny detail matters when searching for premium quality coins. One of the most fascinating parts of collecting the 1970 D Washington quarter is the search for genuine mint-made errors. Although the United States Mint maintained strict quality control procedures, occasional manufacturing mistakes still occurred. Authentic mint errors such as off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, die chips, broad strikes, and other legitimate production varieties continue to attract collector interest because they reveal unusual moments during the minting process. These genuine mint errors are completely different from scratches, dents, polishing, corrosion, or environmental damage that happened after the coin entered circulation, which generally reduces collector appeal rather than increasing it. Many beginning collectors believe polishing an old coin improves its value, but experienced numismatists usually recommend leaving coins exactly as they are found. Harsh cleaning removes the original mint surface, creates fine scratches, and permanently changes the appearance of the coin. Original luster and natural tunning are generally much more desirable because they preserve the authenticity and historical character of the piece. An untouched coin almost always receives greater appreciation than one that has been cleaned or altered. The greatest lesson of the 1970 D Washington quarter is that successful coin collecting depends on knowledge, patience, and careful observation rather than exaggerated claims. Most 1970 D Washington quarters remain ordinary circulation coins, but beautifully preserved uncirculated examples, top-grade certified pieces, and genuine mint-era coins continue to receive the strongest collector interest. Every surviving 1970 D quarter carries decades of American history while honoring George Washington and preserving the legacy of one of the nation's most famous coin designs. Whether discovered in pocket change, inherited from a family member, or found in an old collection, this classic quarter reminds us that the true treasure of coin collecting lies in history, craftsmanship, authenticity, and the stories every coin carries through time.